Hi children, welcome back. How many of you have experienced ant bite? I'm sure all of you. And what did you do about it? I'm sure you must have cried and complained about the bite because most of the ant bites are very painful. The next time an ant bites you, run to the kitchen and open the kitchen cupboard and take out baking soda and apply a pinch of baking soda to the area where the ant bit you, and then you will be relieved of the pain. This is a very easy method to get rid of the pain. Secondly, you have copper vessels at home which has turned greenish brown or greenish due to corrosion, due to exposure to air. This greenish brown product that is formed on the copper vessels are basic salts of copper. So what you should do to get rid of them? Apply some acid on the base or to neutralize the base. And the most easily available acid will be lemon. Rub lemon on this area and you can easily clean the copper vessel. So knowledge about pH is very important. You should know which substances are acidic and which you should have a good idea about the substances that are acidic and substances that are basic, so that you can easily fix small problems at home. Now, in today's lesson, we will learn about the significance of knowing pH of substances. In the last class, we discussed that it is possible to find the pH of the soil using a pH paper. Soil can be alkaline or acidic. This can be found out using a pH paper. If the pH is greater than 7, then the soil is alkaline, and if the pH is less than 7, the soil is acidic. So by knowing the pH, we can select the correct fertilizers. If this is the soil, the pH of the soil can be alkaline or it can be acidic. So depending upon the pH, we can select the correct fertilizer needed for the soil and also the crops that will grow best in that particular pH. Plants require a specific pH for healthy growth. So by knowing the specific pH, we can select the plants that will grow in that type of soil. If there is acidic rain, then the acid enters into the soil and makes the soil very acidic. In such cases, we can add quicklime or calcium oxide or slaked lime to the soil so that it neutralizes the effect of the acid. So knowing the pH of the soil helps in better yield or getting a good harvest. You can select the crops accordingly so that you get maximum harvest or maximum yield from that type of soil. The second is the importance of pH in plant and animal growth. Living organisms require a specific pH for growth. For example, the human body performs best in the pH range 7 to 7.8. Lower the pH, that is more acidic the pH of the body is, more prone you are to chronic diseases. Whenever an acid rain happens, when the pH of the rain is lower than 5.6, the pH of the rain is lower than 5.6, then we call it an acid rain. When the acid rain happens, the water flows to the rivers and through the rivers it reaches the sea. And such an acidic water affects the aquatic life very badly. So it is always advisable that we take steps to reduce pollution so that acid rains do not happen. The human stomach contains dilute hydrochloric acid. This acid helps in the digestion of food. Even though it does not harm the stomach, it helps in the digestion of food. During indigestion, the stomach produces excess acid. This leads to pain and uneasiness. So whenever there is indigestion, the doctor prescribes an antacid. Antacids are mild bases. So during indigestion, excess acid is produced. So in order to act against the acid, we need something called antacid. Antacids. Antacids are mild bases which act against the excess acid. So whenever there is indigestion, antacids has to be taken. It neutralizes the excess acid produced in the stomach as a result of indigestion. There are many other antacids available in the market, but the most commonly used is milk of magnesia or magnesium hydroxide. The most commonly used antacid is milk of magnesia or magnesium hydroxide. The human tooth has an enamel, crystalline form of calcium phosphate. The enamel is a crystalline form of calcium phosphate and it is known as calcium hydroxyapatite. Calcium hydroxyapatite. This does not dissolve in water. The enamel does not dissolve in water, but when it is attacked by acids, it is corroded when the mouth pH is below 5.5. It is not affected by water. It does not dissolve in water, but it gets corroded when the pH of the mouth is lower than 5.5. And the tooth decay starts when the pH is lower than 5.5. So the pH of the mouth should be always above 5.5. When the pH lowers and becomes 5.5 or less, tooth decay starts. How does this happen? When food particles get stuck between the teeth, the bacteria acts upon the food particle or sugar present. The bacteria act upon the food particle or sugar present in between the teeth and it produces acids. These acids corrodes the teeth and causes cavity. So when the pH falls or pH becomes less than 5.5, tooth decay starts. How does the pH become less than 5.5? Whenever there is food particles left in between the teeth, the bacteria in the mouth act upon the food particles or sugar and convert them to acids. These acids corrode the teeth and that is how tooth decay starts. So always brush your teeth after every meal so that there are no food particles left in the mouth, and also for brushing use an alkaline toothpaste to avoid tooth decay. Plant. It has stinging hair. When you accidentally touch the plant, the stinging hair injects formic acid into the body and it causes pain and irritation. Usually along with the nettle plant, you find dog plant. By rubbing the leaves of dog plant, this pain can be neutralized. This is because the dog plant contains base, so that it neutralizes the effect of the stinging hair of the nettle plant, which is injecting formic acid into. I hope you understood well the importance of pH in everyday life. It's not only from the exam point of view. These points should be in your mind forever because it helps you solve a lot of problems in life, health problems and other minor problems that you face in everyday life. Before I conclude today's lesson, a small information about lemon. Lemon is a fruit with a pH value around 2 to 3. That means it is 10,000 to 1 lakh times more acidic than pure water. So when you prepare it, the lemon juice is around 2 to 3. But when you consume it or when you drink it, after digestion, after the metabolic processes are done, the pH it turns alkaline. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. It was a very interesting lesson, especially the information about indigestion and the tooth cavity formation.